Coming to Grand Rapids, Michigan on September 21st and 22nd is GrandCon Gaming and Comics Convention, presented by Celebration Cinemas. Join us in playing or chatting it up with fellow enthusiasts in a community that understands your passions. Get lost in the adventure of your favorite role-playing game. Admire costumes and art from vendors and attendees. Meet the creators behind your favorite mainstream and independent games and comic books. Check out unpublished games and sneak peek at things to come. You can get all this and more at GrandCon. For more information, please visit www.grand-con.com.
Lois, I'm home. I had a train derailment in Canada, an orphanage fire in London, and a dam broke in India. Did you make something for dinner? Oh, my gosh! What happened?
Lex Luthor.
The rat.
Where's Lois?
She was here just a second ago.
Probably scared witless, poor thing.
Don't worry. I'll have you out of that thing in no time. Okay, let's see now. Do I disconnect the black wire or the white one?
Don't worry, I'll save you. What do you think?
Oh,
What do I think? Lois, I think you got some splaining to do.
Clarky, if we're going to be partners and we're going to be married, I want to be part of the act.
Lois, there are things I do you can do. Me, Superman.
Me, super wife.
Us, super in trouble. Could you hold this argument till later and get us out of here?
I knew this was going to happen. First you know who I am, then you want to fire me, next thing you're going to fire yourself in the head.
Uh-oh. Wee.
Ay, caramba! You splattered them.
Oh, Clarky. Well, I can explain why they exploded.
Ay, ay, ay. Hola.
Hello, pop culture connoisseurs. Do you gain a dark sense of peace when the guilty are punished by a violent vigilante? If so, maybe you should get some therapy, and then subscribe to Punisher Body Count, the net's best podcast concerning all things Frank Castle. I'm Dane Lamont. My co-host Jake Williams and I cover the good, the bad, and the hilarious on the Punisher comics, movies, and news. Do you like chummy co-host banter? We got that. You need to get your fucking
No, you
head
need to
checked, man.
fucking pay attention to the fucking movie.
You want kick-ass guest interviews? How about Mike Barron and Tom Jane?
No, I like a little bit of grit in my cigar.
You want carefully considered in-depth analysis?
I mean, yeah, just won Best Picture at the Oscars yesterday. I mean, it's no Terminator. It was still,
Good luck with that. Punisher Body Count, twice a month on Geekcast Radio.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. 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 There is a song the good folks sing.
Song the good folks sing.
Batman. About a hero on the wing.
Hero on the wing.
Batman. I am Gotham's darkest night, the villain's darkest fright. Turn on the signal light for Batman. Batman.
You hate me, don't you?
Lighten up, it's your birthday.
Don't remind me.
Good work, Cape Crusader. Once again, you've saved our fair city from those vile miscreants.
They were no problem, Commissioner. For as we all know, criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot. They plan and plot, but they always get caught. Their evil schemes all come to naught. A superstitious, cowardly lot.
Come on, it took me weeks to get tickets for this show. It's Shway.
It's Schwarbage.
Excuse me. One side, please. Move!
A superstitious, cowardly lot. They plan and plot, but they always get caught. Their evil schemes all come to naught. A soup.
It's breaking news time here on the Pull Bag. Well, the news already broke that Daredevil, that's right, Matt Murdock, 2003 Matt Murdock, Ben Affleck will be the new Batman. I am, of course, one of your hosts, TFG and Mike. Joining me is Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
You have already given your opinion on this, or part of your opinion, your initial opinion about Batfleck. I don't care what the internet says. I said that first. I don't care. You gave it on Altered Geek episode 4. But I want to do something a little different before I give my opinion. I want us to analyze both Batman and Superman from live action and animation. This is not going to take very, very long. As far as Superman goes, you have Kirk Allen, Joel Nestor, George Reeves, David Wilson, Jeff East, Christopher Reeve, Ron Ely, if I'm saying that right, E-L-Y, Dean Cain, Tom Welling, Stephen Bender, Brandon Routh, and Henry Cavill, most recently in live action. Everyone has their own personal favorite Superman. I have several. I really love Reeve in the films. Dean Cain is an amazing, different take on Superman because it was more of a, hey, let's see what Clark is up to kind of thing. Tom Welling is all right. Brandon Routh is the worst Superman ever. I'm sorry. In my personal opinion, he is. And Henry Cavill was damn good. Now, in animation, you have many different voice actors that have voiced Superman. I'm going to try to stick to just the cartoon animated feature animation and not go through all the video game stuff. Of course, Tim Daly, Superman the Animated Series. It was then George Newbern in Justice League. In Batman Beyond, it was Christopher McDonald. Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore, for those of you Adam Sandler fans. Yuri Lowenthal in Legion of Superheroes. Adam Baldwin in Superman Doomsday. Let's see here. Justice League The New Frontier, it was Kyle MacLachlan. In the 1988 version, it was Bo Weaver. Challenge of the Super Friends was Danny Dark. Let's see, who else? Bud Collyer was the voice in the old Fleischer cartoons. And throughout the various animated movies, you've had different voices here and there. What I find really interesting about this is they list DC Super Friends. I'm not sure if that's a game or a show, but they list David Kaye as voicing Superman, dude.
He did it one time.
Okay, but I've never heard of DC Super Friends, and it was something that happened 3 years ago, so I don't remember. So my point in all of this is that many different people have been this character, whether his voice or whether acted as him. Same with Batman. We've got Lewis Wilson and Robert Lowry in the old serials. In live action, you have Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, and now Ben Affleck. In animation, of course, Kevin Conroy, Reno Romano, Dietrich Bader, Jeremy Sisto, William Baldwin, Bruce Greenwood, Benjamin McKenzie, Peter Weller, Jason O'Mara, and many more. What's interesting to me that they never got the William Baldwin Batman and the Adam Baldwin Superman together to do a feature. That would have been so cool, brother versus brother. My point in all this with this news of Ben Affleck being the new Batman is I'm optimistic with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. They're trying to set up a new universe. And according to at least one news site on the internet, he has a 13 appearances deal. It's not a 13 picture deal. He's going to appear as Batman in 13 different projects, apparently. Of course, that's a rumor at this point, but still, I'm okay with it. Everybody's like, oh, but he can't do the voice. Who knows? You never know. Honestly, you really never know. You don't know what he's going to come up with, and it's 2 years from now.
As long as he doesn't go, I don't wear hockey pads, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I mean, the worst he could probably do is...
Allegedly, your situation, for you, would be concurrently improved if I had $200 in my back pocket right now.
It's one of those things where the worst thing he could do is he could use his Boston accent, okay? Because I'll tell you, I was right there with the entire internet when I first saw the news. I'm like, oh no, he's going to be Chucky from Good Will Hunting, which is basically Chucky is super heavy Boston accent, Pakyakan, Harvard Yard, and all that. And I'm not putting on an accent. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I know that accent very well. That's the first thing I thought of. I knew and remembered of Daredevil, but I'm optimistic. I'm not going to make an official, oh my God, either way opinion until I see him in the suit. Once I see him in the suit, then I will make, holy crap, this is the best thing ever. Oh my God, this is going to fucking suck kind of opinion. Any other thoughts for you?
Well, while I did state my opinion over on Altered Geek, I do have to say that while I am optimistic, I'm not going to shoot it in the foot right away. I'm going to wait and see what happens. But this leaves me wondering a lot of other things, not necessarily pertaining to Affleck playing him. And I know that they're scouting Detroit as Gotham City, as a possible Gotham City.
No offense, but Detroit is one of the seediest cities in this country, so that would work.
Well, I was thinking it's perfect anyway, because then they could use the GM tower as like Wayne Towers or something, because technically GM doesn't own it anymore. So I mean, they could technically do that, but that, and I could go down there like haha. But yes. I'm wondering what the bat suit's going to be. I'm wondering what his iteration of the voice is going to be. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that's honestly kind of at this point more important than
the fact that he's
playing him. Because I mean, I think he's going to play a terrific Bruce Wayne, probably the best Bruce Wayne we've ever seen, because he has the look of Bruce Wayne from kind of the DCAU almost to like the Arkham games. So he'll fit the look perfectly. It's the Batman that I'm kind of wondering about, and I'm honestly hoping. And we kind of talked about this in Altered Geek, Mike Powers and I, that we're hoping they go for a different suit. Not just doing the complete all black, doing something different, like even the dark blue for the other parts, or even having black for that and having gray for the other part, like the dark gray.
Powers was saying something about the New Adventures costume. I know you're not particularly...
I could live with that. It's not terrible.
Right. I would either like to see that or the kind of, like you were saying, muted blue, but it's more of the Justice League costume that Batman had in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, because it's more slim. Basically what happened was when they did World's Finest and then they started doing New Adventures, they slimmed Bruce down. And like you said, Affleck really kind of fits that for Bruce. And by the time you get to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, it was a whole streamline, keeping in, not just all black and all gray, but it does have that Justice League costume does have several hints of blue every now and then, but it is mostly black and gray. But it's a brighter, I don't know, it's brighter than what it was in the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the suit's going to look like. I'm excited to see what. I just hope, and I don't think Snyder will do this, but how many ever appearances Affleck is going to have in the DC Universe films, I hope they get the suit right the first time, because we don't want something like Michael Keaton. And I'm not saying Michael Keaton was bad. I'm saying in Michael Keaton's case, the very first Batman, because it was the very first live-action, big-budget Batman movie, he couldn't move his neck in the suit. So I'm hoping when they do the suit, they get it right the first time. It's basically tailor-made for Affleck without, him having to crane his neck. because the rubber isn't going to move.
Well, I'm hoping that the helmet and the cape are kind of one unit, or even the helmet kind of separate, but it's not. I don't know. I'm hoping it's more tied to the cape essence than being tied to the body armor.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get you back to the comics on this comic book review show. We'll be back after this.
Hi, this is Lauren Lester, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Welcome to The Pull Bag. Join us as we dig out our latest comics and discuss them with the rotating panel of the GCRN crew. So sit back and enjoy this week's Pull Bag.
Welcome back to the Pull Bag. Yes, that's right. I am TFG and Mike, joined with Steve Megatron. Hello again.
Hello.
Yes, and the other bit of news that we have to really talk about is Forever Evil, Villains Month, and all that's coming up. We have set aside here in the Pull Bag 2 episodes that will be recorded and air. I believe it's the first 2 weeks in October, like a week after the month of September, a week after Villains Month ends, because September, DC is doing the new 52 anniversary of Villains Month, which it's 52 titles released weekly, various titles released every single week in September, totaling 52. But there's been some news, and I don't know if it's rumors confirmed or not, but apparently for Forever Evil and Nightwing, apparently he's not going to die. They're going to expose his identity.
Which is just as bad.
Yeah, like, if everybody knows that Dick Grayson is Nightwing...
How long is it going to take him to figure out who Batman is?
I know, exactly. Exactly! Why would they do this? Oh, my God, why would they do this? But yeah, Villains Month is going to be coming up later here in the Pull Bag, and, later on at the tail end of September, early October. Any other stuff going on with you? Anything else you want to inform the listeners on as far as comics go?
Well, we'll get into that. It has to do with a certain title that's out right now that if it doesn't decide to pick up, I'm going to stop picking it up.
Yes. And since he said that, I'm going to go to a clip of Batman, and we'll come back with the first review of the day, Batman number 23.
What am I still doing this for? It's got to be one or the other. I can't have it both ways. I can't put myself on the line as long as there's someone waiting for me to come home.
Miss Beaumont would be glad to know you feel that way, Master Bruce. She's holding on line 1, sir. Master Bruce?
Alfred, I can't. Not now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Steve's right. Batman 23, written by Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo and Danny Mickey. 0 Year, Secret City Part 3. The cover is a lie.
Yep.
The cover for Batman 23 is Batman's gauntlet, glove hand, whatever you want to call it, reaching out into the sky, the night sky, backlit by the moon. So I don't think he's going to be dancing with any devils in the pale moonlight. They made a huge deal about this at Comic-Con, and I get it's Comic-Con, you're supposed to make a huge deal of stuff. I said in my written review, and I'll say it again here, maybe you can explain it to me now that we're actually talking about it. I actually counted off pages, not including ad pages. I actually counted off pages. The first 14 pages of this issue, I did not. I knew he was confronting the Red Hood gang, or they had him captured, or whatever else. But I did not know if it was a fucking dream sequence. If it was, I didn't know what the hell it was until we get to the point of Alfred stitching him up after one of the Forever Evil ads. But I don't know. I didn't like that because I couldn't follow it. The first 14 pages of this book, well, I didn't care.
I could tell what it was. I mean, it was continuing where the last issue left off. But
I guess I'm gonna have to go back and read.
But only part of it, because you see the building blow up and they're already outside. Okay. So this is going back in, showing what happened before they walked out.
Yeah, see, that's the problem when we do these things monthly. I tend to forget what I've read in the previous issues.
My problem is I remember everything. But, yeah, it shows him going off and then, of course, going down into a lower section of the Batcave in essence, or, Wayne Manor kind of thing. And then, of course, Alfred's stitching him up, and and then you have Bruce's uncle and Nigma, who are trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah.
And Nigma, of course, pulls the upper hand.
Yeah, I do like the whole storyline in the beginning of how the Red Hood gang leader is telling him about Bruce and Martha. Great. Thomas and Martha. That would be weird storytelling. The Wayne parents, his parents. I did enjoy those lines. I did enjoy that writing. But yeah, you're right. We then get to Nigma and his uncle and all that, and it's okay.
Well, the thing I liked is that Nigma knew that he had a metal plate in his head. He says,
"Oh yeah, I did like that."
He's like, if you'd only had that plate installed in your skull a year later, it'd be stainless steel and non-magnetic. And then he says, "I resigned," and then he states that he's going to work at the Powers family company.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Three Wayne Powers. So, and then of course you hear basically Alfred stating that if he had been at the hospital or at the scene, he possibly could have saved his parents.
Yeah. See, I do really enjoy the scenes with Bruce and Alfred. I do really enjoy that. I do really enjoy those lines. And I like the back half of the book. Anything past those first 14 pages, I really, really enjoy.
Well, and it started getting into it, and he gave him a sign, and it says "The Birth of a Legend," and he's staring at the bat and everything, but you never actually see him, put it together, kind of, or start building it anyway.
See, that's the one problem I have with the back half of the book. The whole seeing.
It's like watching Smallville.
Well, no, it's not. It's not really like watching Small. I guess it could.
Where's the damn cowl?
Yeah, but that's not. Sorry, the dog is dreaming. My problem with it is shut up, dog. My problem with it is, in issue 21, we saw him in a bat suit, a bat-like suit, on that motorcycle. The very first issue of Zero Year, we see him with purple gloves and the cow. We've already seen him in a bat suit. So why is it just now in the story that, the bat is my new symbol? That's what I don't like about this issue. That I've already seen him in a bat suit, yet they're trying to tell me it's not till now that he finds out what his symbol is going to be. And then, of course, it ends saying the next issue is Birth of a Legend. Well, in the back... Oh, go ahead.
Getting into that back stuff, he's basically fighting the League of Assassins in essence, and they're just saying, he's going to have to kill someone. And then everybody's too scared to go fight him, because he just whipped all their asses.
I thought it was kind of cool.
I thought it was neat, but...
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool, but, like I've said before... with this arc, I seem to be enjoying the backstories more than the actual story that Zero Year is telling. And maybe, time will tell, whatever, but we've said this before, but Zero Year at this point, for a year-long event, stuff needs to start happening like next issue, because if it doesn't pick up, this is like the slowest burning candle I have ever seen. It just is. It's not that it's bad. It's just taking forever for something to happen. Reading Batman 23 to me is like I'm finally, after everybody's twist, oh, why aren't you watching Breaking Bad? Jump on the bandwagon, watch Breaking Bad. It's the best TV show ever. I've watched 2 seasons of Breaking Bad. Total of 20 episodes between the 2 seasons. Nothing earth-shattering, mind-blowing has happened yet, in my opinion. And that's the same thing with Zero Year. There are little moments here and there that are really cool, or, there are little touching moments with Alfred that are really awesome, but this needs to pick up now or I'm going to drop the book.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with it. Like, I hate saying that because I love Batman comics, and I love the fact that it's the Bat, but
yeah,
I don't know. At this point, it's not grabbing me. It's not pulling me, as it were.
Yeah, it's not pulling you back in at all.
No, I would, at this point, rather read detective comics than this.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying that the writing is bad. We're just saying that Snyder, he's taking too long. Like, I get it. You can't show all your cards in one hand. You know what I mean? You can't show your hand too early, but at the same time, do something. Okay, sure. In this issue specifically, moments that I liked. When he, the whole back half of that... The back half of the issue, I like the moment with Alfred. I like the moment with Enigma and his uncle and the whole metal plate thing. I thought that was cool. Other than that, it was boring. It just was. It was really, really boring to me. Any other final thoughts?
Other than the fact that I think that it needs to pick up, and if not, I'm done with it. And like you said, it's not the story that's bad. It's the fact that it's just taking forever, it seems.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that, for me anyway, I would rather see... I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the stuff that's going on to an extent, but it's not... I think that the origin stuff has been done to death with Batman in multiple iterations. I understand it's the New 52, but there comes a point in time when you kind of have to focus on the future.
Yeah.
And changing that aspect, whereas the origin, it never really changes all that much.
Yeah, they could have easily... why wasn't... I've read Nightwing number 0 and Batgirl number 0, and they are both the New 52 origins of those characters. I have not yet read Batman number 0, but why couldn't Batman number 0 or Batman number 1 for New 52, and I know Batman number 1 is the start of Court of Owls, but, why couldn't those have been one-issue origin? Like you said, everybody knows Bruce Wayne's parents got shot. They got killed.
He got extensive training. He whooped ass.
And then this leads him on the path to becoming Batman. Something more... I don't know. It's something different. I'm in a complete agreement with you. They shouldn't have done a year-long thing. I think you said to me off air, if they did it in 6 months, it would have been fine. But 12 issues. Oh my god.
That's just long.
Yeah. And I hope by the time we get to the end of it, if we even stick with it, that it doesn't leave us feeling like Death of the Family left us.
Death of the Family, at least, was go, 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 go. Granted, the ending of it was anticlimactic, but it was still more entertaining to me than this.
Yeah. All right, we are going to move on to the next title after this.
Happy? Call me when it's important, and not before.
Now it's time for the Batman and series, issue number 23. And it ends, this arc ends with Nightwing, and Batman has gone through the 5 stages of grief, the 5th one being abstinence. Wow. Acceptance. And the title on the front page is Second Chances, and it has Robin's leg, it has Nightwing and Batman battling some bat look-alike gas mask wearing MFer. It's a good issue. I liked it. I thought it was cool. The art in it is damn good. Basically what it is it's nothing really... Stuff happens, but nothing really... You ever have one of those moments where you feel like you're doing so much and yet you've accomplished nothing because nothing, like no time has gone by?
Yep.
It doesn't feel like time has gone by, but yet you've done so much. It's that kind of thing because it's basically Batman going through these virtual reality things. Basically, is the best way that I can explain it. And then, Nightwing's there in the cave with Alfred. How long has he been at it, Alfred? Almost 4 days non-stop. I've tried everything. He will not shut it down, Master Richard. And it's basically... It's Batman trying to get the events of his son's death retrofitted, retconned, whatever you want to call it. And basically, Nightwing has to jack in and help him. And basically, every time the program fails, it's because Batman is alone trying to save his son by himself. But Nightwing jacks in and helps him, and everything goes well. And at the end, you have Alfred doing the next program, and it's some sort of apology program or some sort of acceptance program on Alfred's part. It's a good read. It was really interesting. I really liked it, but there's just unless it's Batman Beyond or unless Batman shows up in Batgirl and or Nightwing, I'm pretty much done with Batman titles. I'll stick with Snyder's Batman for a while, but I'm pretty much probably going to drop this book. Not that it's bad, but I just can't do it monthly anymore. I'll pick up the trades eventually. I thought more was going to happen, but it's pretty much like, oh, hey, come into virtual reality and help me try to save Damian. And I get it. It's it's a thing of he has to accept that his son is gone. But it's, again, one of my main complaints about DC is, why do Batman and Superman, and I haven't read any Superman comics, so I'm not judging the comics, but I'm just asking this question of the characters. Why do these characters, who are their big two, why do they have to be in, multiple titles? It's the same thing with Spider-Man over at Marvel. I don't understand why how is Batman doing all of this stuff? How is it that in Zero Year, and I know you've brought this up many times, how is it in Zero Year that it's 6 years prior to the New 52 events, and yet in Batman and Nightwing it's the current day and he's dealing... I just don't get it. I wish Batman had one title and that's that.
Well, I can understand having Detective Comics and having Batman.
Okay, but Detective Comics is not New 52, correct?
No, it is.
It is?
Everything is New 52.
Oh
everything.
God.
Not one comic line is pre-New 52.
Okay.
So it's still continuing on. It's all it appears like it's not, but which is a lot of what the Batman stuff is, but it's still all of it's
Yeah,
it's interesting to say the least. But Detective Comics, it's basically continuing on where Batman kind of left off. So I mean, it's all these other titles are added on top of So they're essentially continuing the future. It's just, or present time, without going back in time and telling all the other crap.
Right.
So, but it's interesting seeing that, there's somebody that's basically the equal of Bruce Wayne in this Detective Comics, and in the form of the Wraith that thrashes his ass. But I guess the Wraith wants Batman's suit.
So it's basically like the Cape and Cowl conspiracy from BTAS.
I can't remember, honestly.
Cape and Cowl conspiracy is someone wants Batman's suit, and this guy has to get it for him.
This Mr. Caldwell, which is the Wraith, he finds Alfred snooping, who finds like this giant armament of military grade equipment, and he's basically scanning and everything so that Bruce has an entire run of the complex. And Alfred gets caught, and then Bruce goes away in the Batwing and comes back in the bat suit, and Wraith attempts to fight him and shoots him. But yeah, it doesn't harm the suit.
Right.
But he said he basically wants to buy Wayne Enterprises because he knows that Bruce is funding Batman and wants the tech, the Batman tech.
Oh, wow.
So that's essentially what the whole issue is. And then the back issue is, again, Man-Bat crap. I wish they'd just drop the Man-Bat because, honestly, it's a pain in the ass. I'm so sick of seeing Man-Bat. Like, this one is, like, about him and his wife. The fact that his wife, helped him develop it, but it was all, like, a conspiracy theory. Like, she was working with somebody else the whole time. That's why she buried him, kind of thing. And then she's got her own formula, which is addictive, and she uses a different kind of bat serum that she kills people and eats them, basically, while she's the bat, whereas Kirk Langstrom is he's the more friendly of the bats. Doesn't eat people or stab them or kill them or whatever. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know. It's like 8 pages of crap that I could do without.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next issue.
Batgirl. I still can't believe it. How could you keep something like this from me?
You weren't exactly honest with me either.
But you told him.
He knew.
It wasn't my place to tell you.
But it was your place to put her in danger.
It wasn't like that. I volunteered.
You think you did. You don't know him like I do. He manipulates, pulls strings, anything to get what he wants.
I thought we had the same goals.
Things change. I changed. The game's over, Batman. I quit.
Robin, wait.
And we are back. Up next is Batgirl 23. This starts the 3 epic arc Batgirl Wanted. I freaking love this cover. It's Batgirl in an all-black bat suit because she's kind of basically ripped off the bat emblem, the yellow bat emblem that she used to have, and she's like basically restrained in police tape. And Commissioner Gordon is next to, it's kind of like how do I explain it? It's kind of like when you rip a piece of paper and you see what's underneath of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you rip half a piece of paper and you see what's behind it. That's kind of like what it is. And Gordon looks, he's drawn absolutely fantastically. It's just absolutely awesome. It's amazing cover. But this issue is basically Barbara dealing with the fact that she's no longer going to be Batgirl, and she's out with her roommates and all that stuff. But the start of it is Commissioner Gordon going to see Nightfall. which is interesting to say the least. So we have that, and then we see Barbara and her roommate out shopping. And of course, people try to, some guy tries to harass them and everything else, and she kind of pretty much kicks his ass. And then we see that her date from the last issue, Ricky, is getting into some more trouble because apparently the gang that Barbara beat up for him on their date is coming after him now, and he's telling his mom, "Oh, don't worry, Mom, it'll be all right. I have to go." And then he calls Barbara and says, "Yeah, it might." What does he say? He says, that he has to go he has to go meet up with these guys, and she doesn't want him to go. And basically, as all this is going down, the police have gotten a tip of, where, this fight kind of happened, and it leads them back to Ricky's house, and the police break in, and apparently Ricky unintentionally kills one of the detectives, and it's a whole manhunt for Ricky, pretty much. And then Batgirl, yeah, pretty much. And then Barbara shows up in a ninja outfit. I swear, it's not a bad suit at all. It looks like a black sweatshirt and sweatpants with a hood. And she shows up with all that, and it basically ends with there's not even a confrontation yet, but it basically ends with Ricky's death, and Barbara is kind of kneeling before him, and it says, "Next, collateral damage in Batgirl 24. Still, absolutely love the writing. Gail Simone, amazing, amazing writer. She's telling an amazing, amazing story in Batgirl. The only problem I have with how the arc is going to lay out is fucking 0 Year. This isn't Gail's fault, and I'm not saying anything bad about the Batgirl series, but Batgirl Part 1, 2, and 3. Batgirl Part 1 is issue 23, which we just talked about. Part 2 is issue 24. Issue 25 is the 0 Year tie-in that Gail isn't even writing, and then issue 26 is the final part to the Batgirl Wanted saga.
Wouldn't they have the person that's been writing Batgirl this entire time write it?
Write the 0 Year tie-in?
Yeah, that would be the intelligent thing to do.
I would have thought so, but apparently it's this new up-and-comer Marguerite something or other. I read an interview. I don't know how. I guess an interview can be reliable as long as you're reading what the person says from the Mary Sue website or whatever it is. I read an interview over there with the writer of Batgirl 25, and she said that she had gone back and wanted to make sure that she stuck with what Gail had already created as far as the characterization of Barbara and all that. So I just think this whole 0 Year tie-in stuff shouldn't have been the 25th issues. It should have been the 26th, because that makes no sense that Part 1 and Part 2 are 23 and 24, and then Part 3 of the Wanted saga is issue 26. So they have the 0 Year issue and then the third act of this storyline. That's weird to me. But I'll go with it. I've really, really enjoyed Batgirl. I enjoy Batgirl more than I'm enjoying reading Batman at this point. So, but yeah, anyone that wants to get caught up on Batgirl, it's very easy to do. The first 2 trades are pretty much out there now. Volume 2, I think, actually comes out later in October. So there's that to catch up with issues 8 through 12. But no, it's damn good writing. The art on it is amazing. Yeah, absolutely love it. Did you have any thoughts on 23?
Of
Batgirl?
No.
Okay. Up next is Nightwing number 23, and the cover says, "His fate in the prankster's hands." This cover is basically Nightwing strung up on what looks like a billboard. It's not a billboard. It's a giant. I should say it's a big screen TV. It's kind of like one of those things you'd see in Times Square, or actually it looks more like a scoreboard now that I'm looking at it. This is a pretty cool cover. I thought this was pretty interesting.
It looks like he's being crucified.
Yes, it does, with his own eskrima sticks. Because oh wow, yeah, you are right. He is so because those sticks are right
Jesus
through
him.
Oh my God.
We all bow before Nightwing.
God.
They slew him well.
Alright, so apparently the prankster has gotten together a whole gang of people to go around doing all kinds of crimes, and this issue starts with Nightwing facing one of these little mini gang type things, and apparently there's some girl named Danielle that's hanging off the edge of the building that he's fighting this gang on, and Nightwing is always going after redheads. Because honestly, at first, and I know this would never happen because Barbara Gordon's character is not the damsel in distress, but originally when I first saw the preview for this issue, I thought, hey, it's Barbara, what is she doing there? But it's not. It's some girl named Danielle. Still, she's a redhead. And I love the when she's thanking him, even with the diesel line, those things are total shoulder kill. And she's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she kisses him on the mouth. And okay, so maybe shoulders are overrated. I absolutely love that. It's so great. So we have more of the story where he's found one of the people that know how to get to, one of the little dealers that know how to get to the prankster. And Kyle Higgins just doing an amazing job writing this story. We then cut to Michael and his other roommate, the girl roommate, and they have a conversation with each other, and Michael's at his news desk or reporter's desk or whatever else. And basically the prankster breaks in, and he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like always. This prankster is very, very interesting. And I love, after yet another Forever Evil ad, I love how we see Nightwing on a bat. I guess you could say it's a bat cycle, a night cycle, I don't know, whatever. I love that whole thing where it was a trap that the prankster had set for the cops, and Michael Pearson is following around these cops, and Nightwing's like, oh, repeat that name? So we get that, and then we get something with Sonia Branch, aka Sonia Zuko, where the reporters are the paparazzi are basically harassing her. And then it goes to Tony Zuko, aka Billy Lester, and his wife finds out about his past, about him killing the Grayson family and all that, and he has to live up to the responsibility of doing that, and he has to show his son the responsible thing to do, and he has to lead by a positive example more so than a negative one. I didn't think I was gonna like the whole Tony Zuko is alive thing, but it's turning out to be pretty compelling. It's a pretty compelling story to have him there. And then a prankster blows up a boat where Nightwing has to save a bunch of people, and he's talking about s'mores. You'll hear that in the closing of the podcast today. But that's what's going on there. And it basically ends, which I never thought this would happen. It basically ends with the mayor. There's more going on than you... This is Tony Zuko talking in monologue. There's more going on than you know. There's more to the prankster. Hello, Wallace. How have you been? Which is why, in order to save the city, Nightwing, we have to work together. Next issue, the final showdown. So basically, the last panel of this, last page of this issue is Tony Zuko coming face to face with Nightwing, and it's freaking awesome. Now, throughout this issue, they mention the fact that Zuko was friends with the mayor's brother who was in jail. I'm betting, I'm just betting somehow that the prankster is this other person that they have in common, because just the way that Zuko says there's more to him than you know. I absolutely loved it. I don't know. What did you think of Nightwing?
Overall, it's pretty good. I mean, I like the fact that, everything's kind of polar different. It's a different type of variety than the normal Batman comic.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that, Nightwing's having to essentially work with his nemesis.
Arch nemesis, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. As always, it just is. Alright, that's going to do it for these issues. We're going to take a quick short break and we'll come back with the outro with final thoughts. And Steve's also going to briefly talk about the Batman Annual #2 after this.
Hey, I'm Gary.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Justin. Join the four of us every week on the internet's #1 and longest-running G.I. Joe podcast, What's on Joe Mind?
It's Joe news, reviews, and interviews like you've never heard them before, delivered right to your MP3 player.
Our guests include Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Matt Yang King from G.I. Joe Renegades, Larry Hama, Robert Adkins, and John Barber from IDW Publishing, and many more from around the online Joe community.
Yeah, it's guys talking about Joe. Think of it as Joe Talk meets sports talk. And we make fun of Chuck.
Right, and we... Hey, again? Come on, Chuck. We're just kidding, kinda.
Sometimes Chuck makes fun of himself.
Right, and we... Okay, seriously, this is just getting ridiculous now.
It's What's on Joe Mind, every week on the Geekcast Radio Network, InsidePulse.com, Stitcher Smart Radio, and iTunes. Download and listen today.
I suppose I still can't say something about Transformers, can I?
Good. No.
What about sports?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Coming soon from the Command Center commentaries, celebrating 20 years of Power Rangers. It's Morphin' Time.
Thank you so much, Jason David Frank, for that ringing endorsement. Yes, that's right, folks. Starting in episode 29 from the Command Center is going back and celebrating 20 years of Power Rangers with the From the Command Center commentaries. We'll be doing 15 episodes from MMPR Season 1. And after that, who knows? I know we're doing commentaries from Seasons 2 and 3, and we'll do a commentary on the film. After that, who knows? Commentaries could take us through a number of episodes. There's a very, very, very long list. So I hope everyone enjoys it. As I've said before, we will get to Megaforce once that series completes itself on Netflix or whatever else. Thank you so much, and now... prepare yourself for From the Command Center commentaries, our way of going back in depth and noticing stuff we did not pick up on in the original overview episodes of the podcast, or stuff we missed when we watched them as children. Thank you very much.
Let the power protect you.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it.
We are back. So, Batman Annual #2. What's in that again?
It's, well, basically it's takes place in the asylum. And it's essentially the first time that they brought Batman to Arkham.
Okay.
And I think he goes there willingly for the most part. They send him in there to yeah, that's what it is. They send him in there. It's a new version of Arkham. It's a new facility that they're testing out, and it's to basically proof the security system to make sure that no one can break out. So what they're doing is sending Batman in there to figure out ways out of there. So they have him locked up, and they set him in a secure wing, and there's like an intern there watching the whole thing going on, and you see one of the Arkham guards or Arkham doctors taking this intern through who's supposed to be helping. And you see all of these various villains, like the Riddler, the Mad Hatter, Clayface, and everybody's locked up. And you see this one chick that's been in there so long that she's got the old bars, and it's electric. I mean, like, all of the other ones are kind of locked behind secure stuff, so they can't get out. And then they put Batman in his own cell, and Dr. Jeremiah Arkham tests the latest addition to the Arkham estate with a special wing designed for more particular patients called the Tartarus Wing. The Hell Wing.
Pretty much, yes.
So, yeah. So, Batman's thinking like all of his arch nemesis and using certain ways of getting out. Like he said, like Harvey Dent could terrify a guard or orderly into obedience. The Riddler could outsmart one, trick them into giving something away. And then so he says that the guards will that those inmates will need isolation. In other words, they'll have to have drones. And then he says something about the kind of alloy that the bars are that can't be broken. He says, but the Scarecrow is a chemist, so he pulls out this one kind of acid that is in a little tube that he embedded in his palm of his hand. So he pulls that out, burns through the bars, and then they say, Batman cleared the first cell. And then there's pressure-sensitive plates on the ground, so he uses his grappling hook to go up in the air. And then he says, but Man-Bat won't have to walk out of a cage, so he says motion sensors will be necessary, which they have. And then they hit him with some kind of a hardening foam, which sticks him to the ground. And then he has, like, his suit kind of sheds.
Yeah.
He says, well, Killer Croc would shed a few scales, and then you'd just be able to walk away. He says, all I lost was the varnish to the suit. He says, so yeah, he's able to do that. And then there's another thing where he says, oh, Mr. Freeze would try to crack the entire structure, and Bane would seek the breaking point. So, I mean, he's going through the entire asylum and gets through to a certain point. And there's this chick called the Anchoress, which is in the oldest part of the asylum, and she's basically this decrepit psychic that sits in this one part of the asylum, and that intern goes up to her and kind of provokes her into talking. And she's like one of the experimental physics that one of the previous doctors of Arkham kind of tried stuff on her. So she kind of locked herself away in the asylum, and after a certain point where she killed her parents. So, I mean, it's kind of like all this crazy stuff going on. So right. She was there by, like, volunteer kind of thing. And then so her mission is, like, because she can go through walls, she can do all this other stuff. She goes through the asylum, and while Batman's running through this test, she basically comes up to him and sticks her hand through his chest and starts trying to manipulate him to try and kill him. Because Batman can't touch her. And then she's sitting there screaming at Batman and all this other stuff. And then, of course, one of the plates, like, locks Batman up. And she recalls the first time that she saw Batman in the asylum. And it's kind of, it goes to the 0 year in there. It jumps to a 0 year because she's talking, saying, you came into my sanctuary and violated my holy refuge. And she says, I remember you, Batman. And he says, I remember you. And then it goes to a 0 year where he's just in a black jumpsuit and a black mask going, like, snooping through the files. And she caught him at that time. So she remembers who he is. And so she's trying to turn his brain into mush, like sticking her fingers into his head and all this other stuff. And she starts doing like a projection into his mind, seeing all the death that's followed him, like his parents. You see where his brother, one of the Court of Owls, was killed. Like
Batman
he basically
never
killed.
had a brother.
They explain it in the Court of Owls.
Okay,
He had like a hidden brother.
Yeah.
He had a hidden brother, and he was one of the Court of Owls and basically died. And then they're stating all, Damien and all the other stuff. So they're getting all convoluted into it, but they eventually electrocute the chick and lock her ass back up, and Batman gets away. But yeah, they retrofitted it, and this intern is basically the one that helped save Batman. So, but it's all kinds of crazy. But honestly, it's more interesting than issue 21, 22, and 23.
Yeah. All right. So, what also is more interesting than issue 23 of Batman is Batman Beyond 2.0. The second digital chapter is out. It's been out for about 2 weeks now as of this recording. And man, it's so weird reading the digital chapters because I looked at, when I went to the comic shop a week ago, I couldn't pick it up right away, but I looked at the print issue of Batman Beyond Universe. And what they do is they don't just have they have the first 2 chapters, not just one chapter. So it's the first chapter where Dick Grayson is revealed to be Terry's mentor, and then the second chapter where they talk about the mayor's murder and all that other stuff. So it's 2 chapters per print issue for Batman Beyond 2.0, and it's just every other week. Oh God, every other Saturday just can't get here fast enough. Like right now, as of this recording, we're recording this Monday, the 26th of August, and the next chapter for Batman Beyond 2.0 gets released digitally this coming Saturday, and holy crap, Saturday needs to get here now. It's just so... Kyle Higgins is doing such a great job on the writing, as always. Tony Silas is doing an amazing job in the art. It's actually funny. I actually had a conversation with him on Facebook.
Nice.
I said that in my written review of Chapter 2, I said that the only really negative I found with the chapter was there's one panel of Batman smiling, and he's smiling where the whole entire cowl moves with his mouth. Whereas I'm used to seeing, and I know the comic is not the cartoon series, I get that. But I'm used to seeing, like, when Batman smiles, I'm used to seeing those white teeth or that part of his mouth that is not just the mask moving with his mouth, and I pointed that out to Tony. I said that, your art is damn good. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'm loving it. The only thing that tripped me up was when Batman smiled at Barbara Gordon in Chapter 2, and I said, this, from Return of the Joker, is the smile that I'm used to seeing. And I'm not, if he incorporates it, great. That's great that he took my feedback. But, yeah, that was really, really interesting to have a little chat with him on Facebook about that. But, no, I'm telling you, people, if you were ever fans of the Batman Beyond cartoon series, you need to be reading the current ongoing digital series of Batman Beyond. Like I said before in the other episode that we talked about this, start with Adam Beecham's run, start at issue 1. You don't necessarily have to do that if you want to read right now, because it's a year after the events. Like, what's happening now is a year after the events of what happens in Adam's run, but it's just so damn good. It really, really is. All right. Up next, for the pull bag, we're going to have a triplet of Origins episodes. Episode 28 will be the origin of Booth Ninja's comic reading. Yes, that's right. Mike Powers from Altered Geek and Off the Cuff will be joining me. Episode 29 will be his other cohort, Joe Reed. Episode 30 will be Birdman Dodd from This Week in Geek. And then In September, we're going to celebrate 30 years of Transformers by doing a 3-episode Transformers comics arc when we discuss Robots in Disguise, Volumes 1, 2, and 3 throughout episode 31, 32, and 33 with Ender and Lady Wreck. So those Transformers comics will be hosted by myself along with Ender and Lady Wreck. So that's what's coming up for the next month or so for Pullbag. What else you got going on before we close this monster?
Well, I'll be starting my vacation next week. And then recording a double shot of Altered Geek so that while I'm gone, there's not a missed episode.
Yay!
So it'll be interesting for people to hear what we discuss on them. So
yes,
that's all I'm saying.
Lays are better. Sprinkles suck. All right. So, like I said, join us on the Origins episodes for the Pull Bag. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Steve Megatron Phillips.
And as always, make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
Now, I love s'mores as much as the next guy, but I'm fresh out of marshmallows. What do you say we call it a night?
You just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, GCRN's comic book review podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you were leaving the message for and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.